I'm Clint, and welcome to Swatches Livestream number 25. Can't really believe it, 25 episodes already. We're going to be taking a look at the mid-challenge entries, works in progress, sketches that have been submitted. We got 26 of those, so we'll try to get through and give some comments on those. Also save some time maybe doing some portfolio reviews from the list, which I haven't pulled up in quite a while. And probably do some live painting or paint overs. We'll see. Maybe I'll toss it out to you guys and get some response from you. So, I'm going to just take a minute and look over my stats, make sure everything's streaming good, and then jump into that. If you're watching this in recording, take a look for the timestamps below in the description, and you can jump to whatever part of the stream you are most interested in. Otherwise, yeah, Igor, you're first up. Hey, how's it going? Cetronius. Okay, obviously that looks good. Looks like the volume's pretty good on my side, so I'll close OBS. Looking forward to seeing the entries. Yeah, a lot of fun entries. Let me start by going over what the entries are for. If you're just joining the Swatches channel and don't know what we're talking about, we have a... well, it used to be a weekly challenge. Now it's a 2-week challenge. I give you 2 weeks to do it. I come up with a challenge, characters, environments, portraits, etc. This time, this is what we're doing. Is a fictional board game and a fictional commission that goes out to all the viewers that want to join in. Everybody is free to join. There is a $25 cube brush prize for whoever wins. So there is no real commission price, there is a prize. But it is a 2-character, 2-week challenge. You're doing siblings, Dagon and Daphne Stormbrew, who are from a RPG game, and as you can see the description there. So that's what everybody has done. We've already gone a week in, or actually half a week, because we started on Wednesday. And it will be completed next Monday. So if you want to jump into the challenge and you have not yet joined, there is still an entire week. And if you want to join, feel free. We'd love you to join. You do not have to have entered something for this midweek kind of catch-up review in order to send something into the final. That would be just fine. All right, we're getting quite a few in the chat. Caitlin, good to see you. Solardi, Pyrek, Guten Tag. Yeah, so happy to finally catch your stream. Well, thank you for joining live. People who didn't submit sketches for today's stream are still eligible to post work in the final render stream, right? Cetronius asks. Absolutely. That is absolutely the case. Yeah, I mean, just sometimes it's, you don't learn about the stream early enough, or you were going to be busy this weekend, but have time this later week. So, yeah, just fine with me. The only benefit is you will possibly get a little feedback if you send stuff in this week. So you have that slight edge there. And it's just cool to check up and see what everybody else is doing. Yeah. Is this a 1 or 2 hour stream? It will probably be in the hour-and-a-half range, honestly. 2 hours is start pushing it a little long. Gets me a little late to the gym. But I don't know that we can cover everything we need to in just an hour. So I'm going to shoot for about 90 minutes. Okay, so yeah. Highlights here. 2 characters, Dagon, Daphne. Dagon's a bigger guy, collector, merchant. They storm down into different dungeons and places in order to collect artifacts to sell at their store. His sister Daphne's a little younger. She's a mage, and she's sort of the muscle for the team. She's a little more edgy maybe than he is. And it's your sort of Dungeons and Dragons Pathfinder sort of game. Yep. Question, can you have a mod in your Discord server pin the current challenge every time there's a new one? Yes, I am. Actually, I was just talking to somebody today about that and figuring out exactly what they could do as far as handling Discord and posting the new stuff like on Facebook. Instead of me, sometimes I forget like to put the upload folder out on Facebook, and I forget to put other stuff out there. So I'm going to have somebody else start doing that, and that way it won't be forgot as easy. George, hey man, how's it going? I'm glad I caught you live. Thanks for teaching us so much. Well, thank you for joining in. Always good to see you, man. Hola, hola, Federico. Yeah, if you have not joined me, Federico reminded me, if you have not joined me on Instagram, follow me out there. I'm going to start trying to put stuff out there consistently. I really enjoy Instagram myself. Go out there and just see what people are creating on a daily basis. It's really cool. You can follow me on Instagram at Cearley Clint. Yeah, there we go. Instagram, Cearley Clint. Pyrex says, I'm not working on a semester project for college, and it's about designing characters. Is it okay to take part and use this opportunity to create those characters both for college and this challenge? I think that's a great use of your time. If you can double up on something like that, go for it. I would be completely happy to. The idea of the challenge is to just help you guys flesh out some of your portfolios if you don't have enough stuff, push you to do some stuff that you might not be used to. And this one is really set up in kind of a nutshell of how a real commission would work. So it gives you a good idea of how to work on a commission where somebody else is the art director calling the shots. The computer wants me to update. No, I don't want to update right now. Thank you. Okay, so let's jump over and start looking at the entries. You guys feel free to shoot me questions and comments during the stream, and I will try to hit on as many of those as I can. Put at Swatches at the beginning of your comment. It will flag them in orange, much easier for me to see. Alright, so like I said at the beginning, there are 26 entries. We'll just flip through these alphabetically. As usual, Alessandra, you're up first. And I'll try to keep the comments pretty brief. I do want to get to some other stuff, but just some off-the-cuff comments. Okay. Alessandra, Daphne is looking better, I think, than Dagon is. You're definitely going for more of the femme fatale. Okay, that's cool. Really playing up the luminescent tattoos, like it. She's got a nice expression to her with the pose there. There's two of mine. Sorry about that. Igor says supposed to be an updated one. Yeah, there's a couple of people that updated one, so we'll just skip over the older one and look at the new one if you sent two. Daru, I don't know how to say that name, Sama, says, how to get motivated with a family that push you down. Sorry for my English. Firstly, sorry, bud. That's a pain that a lot of artists go through. Not one that I really had to deal with, but how to get motivated. I think one of the first things to start with is recognizing what they have the authority to actually speak on. And that goes for anyone. There's not many people that I will take art criticism from, or I'll take criticism in my life from. Now, people might want to have an opinion about how I do my art, or they might want to have an opinion how I do things in my life. But if I understand that they are not an authority on that subject, it doesn't matter. And instead of getting mad at them, I just kind of pity them. It's like, you know, those poor people, they think they actually know what they're talking about. They don't. Makes them look like a fool, but you know what? Oh well. And when you pity someone, you can't be mad at them. And they can't really get to you. So you just start out by knowing these are the people who have a right, who have the expertise to actually speak into my direction with my art. And I'll listen to them. But anybody else, they don't really know what they're talking about. So, you know, tough beans. Also, surround yourself with better people. Obviously, you can't just, like, ditch your family in most circumstances. But get a positive group. Like, if you've not been in this group, we got some really good people in our group. The Swatches, the Discord, the Facebook. And try to contact with them. Try to hook up with a local group of artists. And I tell you what, most people will come around eventually if they start seeing you get some real success, get some recognition. When you can buy a car with the money that you've made, a lot of people will start changing their tune. But the people that are doubters, they're just unhappy. And they would rather pull you down than pick themselves back up. And the people that, and this is this is almost getting more into like a vibrant stream, but the people who are apt to pull down your dreams and try to smother you are the ones who don't want to be ambitious in their own life, and they don't want to see other people succeed. Misery loves company. So just recognize that's not what you want, and they don't have the right to do that. Anyway, moving on. Alessandra, I'm liking her quite a bit. I'm on to serve as the art director here. This will say this is my commission that I've sent out. Let's change the daggers. The position is fine, but turn them around. Because right now her blades are sticking out to her arm. So like anytime that she reaches across herself, she's going to slice her arm. So put the blades to the inside where the blades are like going into the sheath. And then the handles are sticking out. Okay? And it's going to make a little more sense that way. For Dagon, okay. If you want to stick with this pose, watch that face. Because essentially you've tilted the face back. But his eyes are still in the vertical half of his face. So at that angle, either his face needs to be moved up a lot more on his, like his features need to be moved up on his face, or his forehead needs to be like really shortened down because of that angle. Also, let's play with his shape a little more. So she has a very feminine shape. She has a great kind of hourglass on the top and this long rectangle on the bottom. Okay, cool. But he doesn't really have much. He's kind of got this little sword. Like, if he's going to have a sword, let's give him a bigger sword. Then if he's going to have some stuff, let's give him more stuff. And don't be afraid to make him, like, extra bulky, you know? Okay. Any advices for keep the shapes clear on a painting? Any advice to keep the shapes clear on a painting? Keep a layer with just your major shapes on it so that you can flip it on and off and make sure you're not losing them. Also, you can do that with color too, by grouping shapes of color together and not breaking them up with lots of individual little colors and individual little values. So try to keep it consistent, like dark block, you know, medium block, light block for all your elements. Daryl. Okay, Daryl. The dark skin take. That's good. All right, I like that direction. You don't see that very much. I think this is a good first pass as far as just, you know, throwing the colors together, getting them posed, all that. I think let's go back over again and revise it. Let's make him a little bigger. I'm thinking she's a little more petite compared to him. She's not necessarily small, but he's a big dude. So let's beef him up some. It's okay to make him have a little belly. And, okay, got some bag. Let's add some extra stuff on him, like some stuff. It's almost spilling out of his bags, yeah? And see if you can get her a little more aggressive. You can often either put her in a more action pose, and that's okay, or, like, spread the feet across like she's got something to prove. You know, a little more aggressive stance. David. Okay. Remember, if you're commenting to me, put @Swatches in your comment. Otherwise, I'm not going to read all of them that don't have the tag on it. Okay, anime direction. That's fun. We don't see a lot of anime on the submissions. And if you're also new, then know that all medias and styles are pretty much welcome. As long as it's realistic enough that I can tell what I'm looking at. Obviously, complete abstract is not going to work because I can't even judge that. But anime influence is good. Just make sure it's good anime or manga in, style and it's refined. I love the over-the-top headgear. All right, that's cool. That I can run with that. But the issue is, if you want to follow the commission, he's a big dude. He's got a belly. So let's change his body type. Essentially, right now they have the same body type. Her body type is fine for her. But this is a big boy. So take a look at maybe some of the characters in different mangas or anime and see how they handle a bigger character and still make them look, you know, manly or... who was it? Take a look at Full Metal Alchemist. I cannot remember his name. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the boy's teacher's husband. And he's a butcher, but he's got a big body like that. So take a look at him. Otherwise, like that, I like his gear quite a bit. Let's give him like he's collecting a little bit more, maybe a backpack, bedroll, something like that. I'm digging her quite a bit. I think this asymmetrical thing, that's cool. Some of the designs on the bottom of that, like it. Swatches Serenity says, I know I need to practice to get where I want to be, but there's a lot of resistance and fear when sitting down to draw. How do I move past that? The fear of failure is definitely a real thing. Fear goes down the more you draw. All right, the more that you do something, the more it dilutes the need for every piece to be the best piece. So as long as you're hitting, 5 out of 10 images are working out, then I'd say you're doing all right. And that's fine as long as you're doing a quantity of pieces. So get used to treating a piece not as having to be the best thing that you've ever done, but as a study in something. This is a study, and just say, hey, I'm going to be happy with this if I get the pose good. And find something specific in each one to put a little more focus into and try to nail that, rather than saying, on this piece, I'm going to nail the personality and the character design and the pose and the colors and the lightings and the textures. I'm sorry, you can do that in time, but get one thing, nail that, feel good about it, you did what you need to, and then there's not so much fear there. Also, if you're fearing about what other people think, other people are too selfish. I mean, other people think about themselves far more than they have time to think about you, and that's basically life. All right, so don't worry about that. And they have their own problems. Okay, next up, Eva Steiner. Okay. This idea, like, he's got a load of stuff here. I like that. All right, it borders on the impractical, but it's really good for selling immediately what's going on here. And it gives me the idea that he may even be like carrying a pop-up version of the store with him. Like, you could think of that in just a moment, he could flip a switch and throw a rope and boom, he has a little pop-up stand. And, anytime that they run across these adventurers, ta-da! There's his little stand and he's ready to wheel and deal. You could run it that way, which is a little different, but it would be amusing, and I think that could work with it. Okay, she seems more basic than him. Let's shake her up with a little bit. See what you can do to give her some more attitude. Maybe lose the sleeves on her. She could go sleeveless. You don't necessarily need to make it like super sexy, but if we can see more of the sleeves, get skin, see more of the glowing tattoos, and see if you can come up with something cool with her hair. Yeah. Igor. Yeah, that was the old one. Okay, here we go. He had a small mistake on that one, so we'll look at this one. Doing a lot of concepts, color variations as well. We got eyes, beard is, okay, different stuff. He's figuring out. I do this sometimes. It's a good way to figure out your character and work through it. Like, what all is he carrying? And kind of just go mentally work through it. You're doing excellent work, Igor. I'm always looking forward to seeing your stuff. And I have to say that this is one of the closest renditions to the two characters that I had pictured in my head. And so props on that. This is actually really close to what I had just already pictured. He has a really good personality to him. They both have a really quick read of who they are, and it sells very well. And this is what I was talking about on the other one. It's a fairly simple pose, but it's an aggressive pose. And he has more of a passive pose. So it shows the personality on those. As I commented on Facebook also, making the eyes glow is a really quick and easy way to convey a magic user or having some sort of magic ability, where his does not, so you assume that he probably does not have magic. So, any adjustments? Let's see. I really like the color scheme you chose. That's working well. The red, I don't know that the red is really working for me. The red sort of seems the odd one out. Maybe like doubling up on the green, like some sort of the brighter green from his glasses, could fit a little better. Or you have one color note between them that's similar. Like maybe getting that cyan color and that matches over here. And so she has like a sash that's his color and he has a sash that's one of her colors. You know, that sort of thing. So there's just a little crossover between them. Blades. Let's see some sort of, let's have one hand that's not in a glove and have some sort of magic effect around it. All right, she's doing something with it. Got just a little magic deal going on there. Yep. Igor says, I'm not sure about the color scheme. Which one would be preferable? Okay, I don't know if you commented that after I commented or not, but... No, I think this totally makes sense. They can each have their own color scheme. She's definitely like cooler tones. He's kind of warmer tones. He's definitely like more earthy with the browns and greens. That's cool. Which is one of the reasons I don't think the red really fits. But she's got like a cyan, purple, and the blues. That's fine. With her, you might want to tone down the redness of the leather. Because it's sort of at odds with the cool scheme. So a little more of the black, gray, or just duller brown on the leather. Yeah. Jacob. Okay. You know, these are exactly the sort of things that made me get into character design. Seeing pages like this and just looking over them and looking at the concepts and breaking them down and enjoying examining the different variations. I just enjoy this. I think this is so good. You know, even and this is one of the reasons I also like to see you guys' sketches, because I just enjoy looking at sketches and breakdowns like this, like probably all of you guys do as well. Okay, so we've got some facial changes here. So as far as this character, what am I looking for? You know, I sort of like the mustache. I'm almost liking this guy the most out of them. Now, you could definitely have his eyes covered. That's fine, but so it gets you pretty close to this one. That really does, it does fit him. I definitely like this headpiece more than just like the one strap thing. So you're really playing it up. And even if you added like more mechanics to it, made the like maybe one of the eyepieces like bigger than the other one, that could be cool too. Okay, looking at some of the poses, I do particularly like this setup here. This one immediately caught my eye, and sort of reflected what I had in my mind as far as what works for these two characters. Oh yeah, I might be running into that with my thing. Let me move it over. So he's like, should we go over here? And she's just chilling like, I don't care, man. I'm just playing with my knives. And in my mind, that is a good reflection of who the two of these are and how they would interact. Looking at her hair, She's a little more edgy than he is. I think the hair over the face thing kind of works for her. Or the... Yeah, like the thing down the half the face works good. Or the pullback. I'm going to say one of those works well. Citronio says, a question about the final render. Does the background have to be white or can it be off-white like a light gray? Yeah, as long... You can do it like a light gray. That's okay. You know, if you wanted to put something like this behind them, that's cool. Just like a quick block. And because sometimes if you light something so that's white, you don't necessarily want it on a white background. But I don't want to see darks. I don't want to see a fully rendered background, that sort of thing. So... but otherwise, these have good reads to them. Let's see if you can do something with the end of her cloak. Either make it long and make it billowy, or give it a nice little, you know, shapes to the bottom of it, or make it asymmetrical. Yeah, just to keep it from being, like, super standard there. No. All right, Jason. Jason's got a quick little item in her, like having her pose her foot on something. And that's also okay. I didn't talk about that originally. But if you want to have a simple item that is part of their pose, like they're, you know, having their foot standing on it, then their foot resting on it, then that's okay. But then let it just fade off to, you know, nothing. Okay, different direction with him. The head mount thing. Okay, we can go that direction right now. It immediately has almost a robot feel. So if you're going to do that, let's have it like it goes over like part of the face. Like it's a head, part of a helmet maybe that has the lenses coming down. Then you could probably have like a leather strap. Would make a little more sense to keep it just from being too robot-like. Okay, you got these. Is like mainly around the waist. Okay. You could even look at some of the military gear, like how they haul all of their stuff in the military, and they have like pouches, you know, down the straps coming here, and then they have like pouches around their waist. And see how that works as far as how they compartmentalize things. I think you could take some cues off of that, and that could work really well for you. The prosthetic foot, lower leg, is a good idea. I like that. I think you could probably do something more interesting with the bag. Fill it out, have some stuff coming out of it, show some patches in it. Just give it a little character that way. Then... give him a little more belly. All right, he's looking fairly ripped right now. He's not a ripped dude. He's not like obese, but he eats well. She's definitely got a lot of attitude. Her hood is fine, but it's like that's not functional. Like it only comes to her lower back. So let's let that come down to at least her waist, right? You know, the end of her rear. Somewhere in that area. If you want to have it shorter, that's fine. It doesn't have to go all the way to the ground, but let's at least make it that way. Or she's got it where, you know, it's a cloak, but yet she, you know, she pulls it around and maybe she has like a little latch or something. So there's a big hanging piece of fabric that loops back over. When she doesn't want to hang it behind her, she does some sort of tie with it. That's fine. Okay, the hair. Right, glowing eyes. Good. Lazaro. Working mainly on Daphne's pose, not trying to do the femme fatale, but a rather young, adventurous, tomboyish character with magic fists. Please, if you see any poses stand out. Okay. I have a more clear idea of this guy, just had to make him thicker. Missed that part on the prompt. I'm mainly figuring out how his backpack will look and how charmed he will be by whatever he's holding, since I wanted to have him engaged with an artifact. Okay, gives me an idea. Okay, I like that. him posing by looking at an object, examining, trying to figure out the value of something. Works for me. You said you're going to thicken him up, so that should be good. Yeah, we pretty much just need a normal side shot of him. So it's fine that you're experimenting with an angle to work out maybe his form, but let's keep a side angle on them. Her pose, she's like doing that sort of thing. Got some more action poses going on here. And action poses are definitely okay. All right, and these are not like a narrative piece. These are just pieces that, you know, I would say hypothetical, fictionally would be in the back of a book. And you would be flipping through there and going, oh, these are the two characters. And you're just trying to convey the character really quick. This pose, I'm liking quite a bit for her. The 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot lifted up. And then this hand probably has a little magic going on with it. That or she's got a knife in it. You know, she's going to use the knife. And then you could have her brother back there, you know, examining something. They don't both have, and they can kind of be separate that way. Like, she's in an action pose just on her own, and he's examining something on his own. Not necessarily that they would both have to be in the same, you know, situation where they're both in an action pose or both examining something. No. Also, the cloak. You make good use of the cloak with that billowing around her. Manuel. Okay. Digging A and B more than C. This is probably bigger than I thought as far as like how big he is, but I'm okay with that. Why? Because it's a really good silhouette. It's a really good simple body shape. This one also, whatever this is that he's hauling, that's good because it's a good silhouette. But he almost looks too short, so you probably need to extend his legs out a little bit just to make him not look like he's a dwarf, because he's not a dwarf. He's a fairly big normal dude. So let's just adjust that, but then this would need to adjust proportionally to his height changing. And again, this could be like he brings his own tent. You know, he doesn't even like to sleep on the ground. He brings his own cot and all kinds of stuff with him. So those both have a good read to it. This feels like too much of a warrior thing going on, and that's not really who he is. Let's see. On her... I think she's probably a little more streamlined. Like, this isn't bad. I sort of like what you have going on with some of the leathers and the straps. Little armor piece like here or there. That's a nice touch. But I think maybe she just has like one bag, one little packet, and he carries everything else. She moves very lightly. So somewhere between those two, I think. Or you could go with like this, but it needs some more straps to it, and probably not a dress. I'm not really feeling that she's the dress type. Or if it is, then it's going to be a little shorter. She's a little more edgy that way. Okay, Matt Oates. Matt, can I open this with... Nope, it doesn't want me to open it with that. It's just I can't zoom up with it like this. Let me open it in Photoshop. Or not. There we go. Alright, I think maybe my chat got stuck because it's not updated in a while. Let me see if that got stuck or not. Okay, nobody's message. All right, usually somebody messages when I'm looking through their stuff. All right, so Matt Oates, we have... All right, are these just color variations? Pretty much. Okay. This is good job, Matt. I'm feeling these. She's really good. Gave her a wand. That's nice. I hadn't really thought about her having a wand, but it would be fitting for her magic. The magic around the glove is good. The collection of knives. Yeah, you really thought through this. This is solid stuff here. I like this. He's like already, oh, were you interested in some of my potions? He's already ready to make a sale. Listen, she has like a sort of passively aggressive, suspicious look, but let's make him a little more genial. Like, he's a good salesman. He starts by being your friend. He starts by making a good impression and being friendly. And so let's give him a little more of a smile. Color-wise, I'm liking these two on her more. Her purple hair has a better pop against the duller tones. So those two would be preferable, I think, to this. I think the greens and the reds just challenge against her hair a little bit on that one. As far as him... Okay. I think the purple is doing the best for me out of the three choices. At least it would tie them together a little bit. Yeah, he's going to have a little bit more pop of color than she does. She's probably a little bit more subdued as far as just her normal clothing, but her pop of color is in her hair. He has duller hair, but he has more color on the body, and I mean, like his clothes. Yeah, I would like to see. One or two of these like glowing. You know, maybe have a little magic mist or steam or something coming out of one of them, just to give it a little flair. Yeah, good, solid work, man. I like it. On the goggles, I see that we have goggles. Let's add a couple of more lenses to them. Or maybe I just can't make it out well enough in this one. Maybe it's over here. Let's play that up just a bit more. Yeah, a little more genial on him too. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, it has wares if you have coin. Absolutely. Michael. Michael has a simple pencil sketch. He got I don't know, scanned it. He probably photographed it. Send it in. All right. Okay, he's got like the safari hat, lens. Okay. As far as basic character start, that's good. We want to make sure that we are referencing some good poses, not just drawing from your head. Make sure you have some reference photos for your poses to keep those accurate. Yeah, let's get more cloaks, like a little more protection on him. He's gonna have like more vest, cloaks, and that sort of thing, and not be brawny. He's not all about showing his muscles. So let's put some more layers on him. She can have less layers on her because she's just that way. She travels lighter. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what I'm seeing, like what's fabric and what's not. Yeah, you'll need to clean that up. And you got knives going down here. Yeah, knives right there aiming down at your leg. Let's take those out because that's a great way to like stab yourself. So maybe put like a pouch on the arms. It looks like you have some on the side of the legs. Those are fine. I mean, you can add a big dagger strapped to the side of the calf. That would work as well. Micolage. That's a computer. That's not what I clicked on. There we go. Micolage, good rendition here. Got quite a bit done too, didn't you? All right, she's definitely got edge to her. You got the knives on the rougher side. Okay, good. good. I'm not seeing a lot about her that's like not fitting, so I'm good with that. Him, he looks a little like I wouldn't want to trust this dude. So let's clean him up a little bit. He's the more respectable of the two. So let's adjust that. That doesn't necessarily need... that's mainly just the face. The rest of it doesn't need to change that much. He's almost got like a pirate thing going on. I feel like a pirate and an old aviator mixed up their wardrobes, and then that's sort of what we got. I think you could go a sort of pirate route for the two of them. She's not that far off, honestly, with hers. So if you wanted to edge it that way a little bit, that would be a really interesting direction to take it. And he's not far off himself. So take a look at like Pirates of the Caribbean. Look at the costume designs on those. And pull out a couple of little flares of that. And that would really give them a personality that would separate them from a lot of the other concepts. Going with fur. Fur can be a really good choice here. That's a very functional thing to have if you're adventuring in a lot of different climates. So that's a nice inclusion. I just feel like those sort of not quite hitting the mark of what the flavor is as far as culture, style, that sort of thing. And I think if you edge just towards that pirate direction, it would clarify a lot of that. Okay. Mario. Giustiniano. Pull that back up a little bit. Okay. Good aggressive stance here. I assume you would have like his foot on something. His pose is a little weird right now. With like how big his lower legs are. So let's adjust that somehow. Let's get that cleaned up. That I can't really make out what's going on down there. But hers is pretty good. Good pose. Let's see, you got that, some blades. Okay, yeah, I like the little the patterning that you have on that too. Make sure you're copying a little bit of the same patterning over on him, so that those are consistent. Yeah, we need to rework his pose because like he's hunching over, but he has his head up, which is really unusual and it's very unlikely. So figure out something a little different with that if you would. But having a lot of stuff in the pack, pulling it over. Yeah, I think maybe adding like I'm really feeling like a cloak, some sort of cloak on him would be good. Or like a poncho. He could also be a poncho sort of guy. Yeah. No. Alright, this is, if I'm not mistaken, that's like an Asian style hat. The straw ones that go like way out. That could fit her. I could see that. Kind of high fantasy, big shoulder pieces. Got fishnet going on. Okay. I still need to see the hood. It was in the description that she does have a hood. So, like on this hat, take a look at some of those Asian hats that dip down, right? So you might not even be able to see her eyes because they come down and they reach real low that way. The staff, the interplay between the hand and the staff magic is nice. I like that. He's just practically a giant compared to her. That's fine. I'm losing kind of what's going on back there with him. I assume that you'll clarify that for me. Okay. Got a lot of different stuff. These two felt like they were like part of a support or something because they're so straight and right up behind him. If they're just wares that he has, then let's put them at a little more of an angle. Like, it'd be hard to put a sword straight down over your head, so probably off at an angle that he could stick it in somewhere. Yeah. Then, yeah, like have a treasure chest or some sort of chest that he either found it or lugs it around with him. That would be okay too. You want to add one little item sitting there with them to kind of give a little extra context. I'm fine with that. He's got ropes holding up the ends of those. Okay, that's good. I think the main one on this is I'm not sure about some of this is sort of fuzzy blocked in. So make sure you're not, going to lose the pose underneath all of that. It's easy to do. You start adding a bunch of stuff and you forget like the volume of where the person is and what their actual pose is. Yeah. Okay. Petri. Good attitude on her. Goggles. Yeah. He's got like a long... I'm kind of digging his big cloak thing. Yeah. I feel like maybe it shouldn't be tightened up around his neck quite that much. It's probably a little looser around here, and then maybe he has a inner shirt or inner jacket that has the collar sticking up a little bit higher. And let's give him something to do with his hands. She has a little something to do with hers, and that's fine for her. She's got just a, powerful pose to her. Let him be doing something. Maybe he's, just handling some golden coins in his hand, or he's pulling out a compass, or he's holding a map. Something just to give his hand something to do, yeah? So let's do that. And let's play up his baggage a little bit. We got a strap here and here, but we don't see much. Let's add a bit more to that. Maybe he has another strap underneath this cloak that has some bags in there. Maybe he has a couple of things hanging off of his belt. Or just make this up a little bit higher. Yeah? Okay. And you have him bald right now. You know what? If we're going to have him bald, let's give him a beard too. Or some other little facial hair with it. Or make the mustache just epic. So really play that up. Because right now we have like thin little ears, thin little mustache, and kind of scrunched features. So she's got like this nice bright hair. Let's, if you're going to play up the mustache, let's make that nice and big too. Yeah, Igor says, I like the coat. They're about to venture in the North Pole. I like the coat too. It really gives them a good character about it. And another thing that you can do with the coat is wind. Have it blowing. Have it blowing in the wind. And that would give a little action, a little motion to what is generally be a very static scene. Ricardo. Really excellent designs here. Very clean. A good high caliber sort of manga, anime, Japanese influence here. And I like seeing that. Very clean designs. Dude, I'm really digging some of your shapes here. And this is what I'm talking about. Like they added a little wind or motion to this, having that flying around. And that adds a lot to what would just be a very static scene. And same thing with adding it to the cloak back there. That's good. Digging the headpiece. Hadn't really thought about this whole design into it. But, man, I like it. That's fitting really well. I feel like these are some cool travelers that Naruto would come across in an episode. Little thing here is if this vest thing is going around him, we would actually see some of it back, between his legs there. So make sure we get that in there. Got these. Okay, anything else I would adjust on this? I'm digging this quite a bit. I don't know how you're going to color it. Make sure that her purple hair has a good pop to it. I would say this sort of leaf pattern, eye pattern, I'm not sure what you're going for there, is a little more subtle. I mean, it's fine to be in there. In fact, I like it being in there. But let's make sure it doesn't become overpowered. Because if you start putting pops of color in every one of those, that is going to just steal your attention away from everything else. So you can have them in there. Just make sure that they're a little more muted as far as just visual information. You got like lots of scrolls here. That's cool. Her designs. Man, I'm not even seeing that much that I would want to change about these. I'm liking these quite a bit. I feel like we could almost do something a little more with him. I think... Okay, all right, I think I see what it is. On her, we've got this great asymmetry where she's got like these daggers in this hand, and she's got this thing that's getting bigger on this side with daggers on this side. This one comes back down here on this side, and he's like completely symmetrical. Let's just change it up and have like one strap or one bag hanging down off to this side on him. Kind of balancing off. It's heavy on this side for her, and there's just one extra thing kind of throwing it off on that side on him. And then maybe, I think he might also like collect a cool bracelet for himself. This sort of thing with a nice little gem in it, maybe he's got that on like one forearm. So he sells most of his stuff, but you know, this one piece, that's one he likes. So he just wears that for him. Digging it, man. Digging it. Good stuff. Okay, I don't know which one was... I don't know what you changed in those. There was 2 of them. Anyway, hopefully that was the right one. Rishav. Okay, he said he didn't get to spend as much time. He only got some pencil drawings in. Well, that's fine. That's fine. You have to start somewhere. Sebastian says, "Hey, Clint." Hey, Sebastian. Man, how you doing, man? I just have to ask, how do you feel about entries in the style of Warhammer 40k Grim Dark, or even the style of Slaanesh, Demon Succubus, Dark Elder, Sadistic Leather Elves? Okay, well, I'm not familiar with the Slaanesh or Dark Elder. I know the general look of Warhammer 40k. Okay, if you want to have that flavor, that's fine. But let's make sure that we're not crossing the lines. They're not villains. Okay? So we don't want to cast them as villains. If their elf, if I can kind of say it this way, if their elf style is that way, like the elves in this game have that particular look, then you can sell it like that. But don't make them look evil. He needs to look like somebody you'd actually do business with. He needs to look, you know, reputable. She can look a little more edgy, and that's fine. But if that means like darker clothes and lots of leather straps, and you know, that's okay. I don't have any problem with that. I would almost need to look up some references to know exactly what those are. I'm just not familiar with the exact elves in that IP. Okay, Daphne. Okay, got that here. That little thing. If you take the villainy out of the Dark Elder, they'll just be the Smashing Pumpkins. Oh my goodness. That just look like a rock band, huh? Okay, I'm liking the attitude you're getting out of her. A smirk, I think, really works for her character. Because she's the sort of one, like, she's waiting for a fight. She's always ready to test her mettle against somebody. So that's good. The pose is a little weird. Like, you've got the chest out and the hips back and her knees forward, which is odd. So let's adjust that. Make sure we have the full body as well. On him, now this is something else. I'm guessing here. I could be wrong, but I've seen this before, and I think I'm not. I think you have a tendency to probably draw your stuff at an angle. Like I think you probably turn your paper, or you lean and look at your paper, because your characters, I think you probably sit at this angle and look at it. Because like the left side of the character's face dips compared to the right side in most of these. So like this side of the face is lower than that side, and this side of the face is lower than that side. And there's a sort of distortion where the left side has a downward pull to it. And that usually happens if you're drawing in life, because you turn your paper, and due to the perspective of not looking straight at the paper, your mind automatically adjusts to lengthen out part of it to make it look right. So make sure you're keeping your paper straight so that you don't get that sort of parallax effect going on. On him, I'm liking the eyepiece. That's good. This facial hair, I think, fits for him pretty good. I'm feeling that. Let's make his pack bigger. Just have like a big piece at the top, maybe, that sticks out a little bit. Good girth on him. I like his expression. Yeah, just keep working with these. I think they're a good direction on them. Could it be the way he took the picture? No, because it only affects... No, I don't think it is. It's not that sort of distortion, or it would have affected everything else in a different way. Anyway, Russ. Just doing Daphne. Okay. That was also something I meant to mention. If you want to do this challenge, but you know you have limited time to do it this week, then you don't have to do both characters. If you have time to do one character, Daphne or Dagon, that's fine. You just do Daphne or Dagon. I would rather see one character done better than two characters done mediocre. So if it looks like maybe he's just doing Daphne, that's cool. Now, I won't be able to select him to win anything because he doesn't have both characters. But just for practice sake and for, you know, improving skills, it's better to focus your attention down on one thing. Okay. I think this is probably getting too far. Any pose like this is probably just fine for her. We don't need to go crazy with it with like a lot of foreshortening and anything. I do like the punch of color there. I think the middle one is the closest to what I'm looking for. This could be interesting. I'm not sure exactly what you're meaning with this, but like if the end of her coat or tabard or whatever it is, like splits into multiple pieces and is kind of flapping around her in some unseen breeze, you know, caused by her magic or whatever, that could be cool, and I would be on board with that. She almost has a cat look right now. That's okay. You could even play that up too. That could work for her. Having like a almost like cat-like feature. Essentially, the elves in this world have a feline direction to their features. So the rest of this, I can't really make out enough to tell what's going on or not. So that would have to be cleaned up more. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe you did one on each. Okay, I didn't realize that. You did Dagon on one and then Daphne on the other. All right, Dagon. All right, I think you missed part of the thing with Dagon. Dagon's not like a slim, trim dude. He's a big boy. So let's make sure we adjust that. You've got like a really trim fighter sort of thing going on here. So let's adjust him. Take a look at some of those other guys we're doing as far as the sort of body type we're looking for, the personality. I don't think you'll have to start from scratch. You already have an idea of what you want to do with the goggles and some of the other stuff that he's carrying. Let's put some sort of cloak or coat on him. I'm not sure what this is, but a scarf could even work well. Offhand, I thought maybe that was a scarf. That could be a really cool feature for Dagon. I could see that working for him. I'm not sure how you say your name. Is that Stepan? Is the J silent? I don't know. Lukac. Anyway. Yeah, I saw you post this one on Facebook, an Arabian direction. Good to see that. I like that direction, and I think it suits them pretty well. Okay, so we got mainly bags around the waist, not so much on the back, but he's got a mechanical bird. It really reminds me of the, was it in the like 1980s Clash of the Titans movie, or was it before that? It was probably before that, Clash of the Titans. Was that 60s, 70s? Anyway, has that mechanical owl. It reminds me of that one. And, okay, we got her. This is a cool way to do the cloak. The sort of asymmetrical pull across this way and then going down that way. I'm feeling that. That's working for her. The way it pulls, Clash of Titans 86, you think? Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. I can't remember when they made it, though. And yeah, he's like really genial and happy. Let's slim her up here, right? Her legs, we want to get her definitely more feminine than him. And she's having like really thick ankles. We can have a little artistic license and like slim the ankles up a little more there. She's got all that. That's cool. Got kind of a, almost like a floral tree tattoos, all right. Lots of blades. I'm not sure. You've got like a lot of extra lines here on the face. So let's make sure we're not overemphasizing the avial folds here. We don't want to emphasize those. And we don't necessarily need to overemphasize the edge of the outside of the nostrils either. For her, on a sketch like that, you probably just need the underneath plane. You don't necessarily need the side planes. On him. All right, now that you're going forwards with it a little more, let's add something else to his shirt. Maybe I'm thinking his sleeves should get bigger at the ends. This should like, he seems to have like a very breathable sort of attire. And I think that would work well with him, having like the bigger sleeves on that. And maybe some sort of big, just a patch of color or edging going along the edge of the sleeve right there. Be good. I like the bags here. You probably just didn't finish them because I can't figure out, like there's no way to open them. I don't know if these like water bags or something. Show me how these are like, how he opens these or what's in them or something. Like this one, at least I can tell what the flap is, right? So that's what I'm thinking. yeah, Igor's right. The remake of the Clash of the Titans, they had that little scene with the owl in it, you know, hallmarking back to the old one. Yeah. He's got a cool staff. Let's make sure the staff has just a couple of those cool little geometric circuitry stuff like going on the top of that. That would connect those up really well. This is also a good place to wind. You know, add some wind, blow that out a little bit. They don't have to be in a freaking tornado, but just give some nice curves to it. Okay. Oh, computer is needing a second to catch up with me there. Oh, okay. There. Nope. Still going slow. Are we ready? I think I'm getting the feeling my computer is trying to update something in the background. I don't know what it is, but that's usually how it responds. No, I'm not even trying to open that program, silly computer. No. I don't know what the deal is with the last updates to the operating system, but it keeps wanting to open everything with grab, and like you never use grab. Preview, if anything. Okay, there we go. So this is from Cearley. Giving another line up of characters. All right, basic poses. That's fine. This can be a really good way to just throw out ideas very quickly. You have one mannequin pose that's very straightforward, and you're just doing a lot of different clothing designs on it. And then after you figure out what you want, then you find a proper pose and you redo them in that better, more believable fitting pose. For her, which one fits with what I had in mind? First one has pretty good take. Otherwise, I'm going to say... I like this one. Number 3 is also pretty cool as well. As far as the clothing. Now, the hairstyle... I'm not real fond with that. I don't think that really fits her as much. I would go with either 2 or 4 on the hairstyle. Then the clothing, 1 and 3 have some of the elements that I like. This sort of multiple pieces there is pretty cool. This is also a really interesting shape. It's a very geometric sort of non-feminine shape, and in that way it sort of fits her. Similarly, this one works really well, but I don't feel like either of these have like hoods. So if a hood was added maybe to this one, and combining that with some of the gear and what you have going on there, that would be a good combination as well. As far as Dagon, I like the you keep playing around with these different things on the background too. That's pretty cool. So facial hair, I like the facial hair variations. I'm digging this sort of thing. On him, the mutton chops with the mustache, it really kind of fits what I had. These two, particularly as far as the hair, facial hair, work well. If you want to have him top hair, that's fine too. And this one, clothing design, really for me fits the closest. Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of feeling this. That's cool. Yeah, the backpack, and one of the reasons is, okay, it has the backpack, but it also has this nice little collection of other smaller items as well. This one's very close too. Let's play up the headpiece a little more, make it a little more prominent of a piece, give it some more volume, give it some more elements to it. But yeah, excellent direction. I like your breakdown, I like your variations. They're very similar. They all have a very similar look, but you're going about them in slightly different directions. Yeah. Okay, Ted. Okay, good. All right, lugging a lot of stuff. I like that. Her pose. Okay, I think we can adjust these a little bit. It would be pretty close. Somebody else had mentioned on the Swatches page about her neck being a little long, and I would agree. Her neck is a little long. If you want them to have a long neck and be really sinewy, you can do that, but it needs to be very overt. This elf type, well, they're also half human, so I don't think they would be that sinewy. So yeah, let's just shorten the neck. That would make more sense. And then let's give her more attitude. Probably have her head tilting down. So she's looking over her shoulder, right? And she's got like an aggressive look to her. Right now, she's like, oh, I don't know. But let's give her like more tilting down and more concentration look to her. I like the addition of, she's got like knives just wrapped around all this stuff. That's cool. On him, I feel like he's almost falling forwards, and then maybe that's not a big change, but like his legs are turned away from us, but his upper body is turned to us. So maybe if we turn his upper body away from us also, just a little bit, and then had his head turning back to look at us. Like I said, this is more, sorry, I hit the table. He's more of a genial person, so a more positive, welcoming attitude. And now that I've seen some of the other ones that have like facial hair, let's go with some facial hair or mutton chops or a beard. A proper beard would also work on him fairly well. I like the collection of bags that you have here. That's cool. Okay, you've got like a shield thing here. This could also work well where he has maybe even like a little wagon cart, a trolley, a chest, and then he has like the shield could be propped up against that as well. Because right now it's sort of throwing off the... I feel like he's trying to defend himself. Like he's got the shield in order to try to defend himself. And that's not really what we want to go for. But I think it would make a really good prop, as if, you know, this is the stuff that he's protecting or he's going to try to sell, right? And it's sitting right behind him. Tyler going for big blocks of color. All right, Tyler. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at, dude. So the finals can really be pretty much whatever style you want, but at least for the sketch, I've got to be able to make out what I'm looking at. I mean, obviously I can get like arm and head and some sort of eyepiece, but I don't know what's going on here. All right, I really need you to come back and do like a simpler line drawing, or at least get it far enough that I can make out what I'm looking at. I think you were just testing colors on some of these. I'm not sure. Also, I think you might be using the mouse and not a Wacom pad. If you don't have a proper Wacom pad or any kind of stylus pad, make sure you're picking up one of those, and it's going to make a drastic difference with digital drawing. Otherwise, just pencil drawings are fine, man. It doesn't have to be digital. If you want to do pencil drawings and throw some color pencils on there and do some watercolor, that's fine too. You want to keep it in just black and white and not add any color at all. That's also fine. So, Tyler, this is Daphne. Okay, now this one's a little more understandable. Okay, she's like super aggressive. We can have her in an aggressive stance. I mean, you can have her in almost, what would you say, almost like an attack, right? She's coming at us, right? And that face, let's see, right now that face doesn't match a standing pose, but it would match somebody who's like charging at you. And for those, I would look at comic books. Look at some of the poses they do in comic books. And you can pretty much reuse one of those poses or kind of adjust a pose that you find in X-Men or whatever. Obviously, it's going to be a completely different character. Nobody has trademarks on poses. So take a look at some of those and find one that you think would match that expression really well. Otherwise, having a crisscrossing, that's fine. A big billowing of like fabrics down here is good. You might look at like samurais and how they had the layers coming down from the waist, because they would have like multiple layers of beaded armor with fabrics, and they would make some pretty cool shapes with those. That might be a place that you get some inspiration on that. Okay, well, that is all the entries. We're at hour 16 in. I'd like to wrap it up in about 15 minutes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down here, and we will try to address those. I gotta take a sip of water. My throat is drying out. Also, until you guys figure out what you want to ask, you can be dropping those in there. But the new Patreon rewards will be coming out later this week. It will probably be Thursday or Friday before they come out. But we will be doing... I'm trying to switch over there. It will take a minute. Anyway, new Patreon rewards will be coming out later this week. If you want to get in on that, then I will be having 3 different pieces going on. One is the astronaut image I did. I don't know why my computer is going so slowly. Wow. Okay, there we go. The other one is I'm working on this guy. I'll give you a sneak peek. C18, yep. Steve says, what was the commission details picture in the very beginning of the stream? Steve, that is actually on the Swatches Facebook group. So if you have not already joined out there, go to swatches.group. That's the shortcut for the Swatches group. And you can go get all the details of that on the group page. George says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is life going? Depends the day, George. Depends the day. I would say that most of my pieces are going good. The main thing is there's some just life things going on that has a tendency to make things a little harder than they should be. But otherwise, I'm optimistic about where things are going. Yeah, my computer's having a really hard time for some reason. It should not be this difficult to open that file. Yeah, come on. Yeah, okay, so we're working with the Flame Knight, and he will be part of the Patreon rewards this month. And you will need to be pledged by the time the rewards come out. And this is a revision of him. For those of you who got to see this originally, there was a different design to him. And I started it on Twitch. I got some great feedback. The guys were like, I was trying to figure out what to do with the weapon. And somebody had mentioned, oh, how about like a medieval flamethrower? And it's like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. So that's what we've been running with. And I just got him redesigned and laid down the basic tones. These are some of my inspirations over here, as you can see, obviously. And now I'm going to start painting in the actual, you know, paints and textures and that sort of thing. But that's the sort of lighting I'm going on with it. Fairly straightforward front side light. So he'll be one of the content. You will get the high-res JPEG of him, PSD file, in case you want to see how I broke down my layers and stuff. You also get probably be a 15-minute video time-lapse of it, along with my commentary describing what I'm doing at that time. And also doing the Oberon armor. That one would take forever. You can go out to the Swatches group. I have a post of it out there. That was a big file. Take a lot longer to open. And then the astronaut image as well. Federico says, should we have knowledge or be into of... okay. Should we have knowledge or be into of might and magic lore to have an opportunity as an artist in the future? Oh, should you have knowledge of it or be into it? I mean, it doesn't hurt, but I'm not going to say it's a necessity because you might not even get hired by those people. So, yeah, whatever. Having some familiarity is fine, but I don't think it's going to keep you from, you know, getting commissions because everybody's going to have their own IP and you're going to have to start following their direction anyway. So, Astronia says, how much weight are you going to put into making sure Daphne and Dagon pass as siblings? Some other sketches make them look vastly different, non-related. They definitely should have some similar look. As far as, their skin tones need to be pretty much the same because they're the same race, obviously, same family too. Maybe they have some same features as far as like eyebrows, eyes, and one or two elements in their clothing could be similar, but aside from that, they could just look like they're from the same world. They don't need to look like twins or identical twins or anything along that line. I'm okay with them having some difference on that. Okay, well, that looks like most of the questions. So if you've enjoyed this, then make sure that you're going to jump into the future commissions, the challenges. And we have the deadline for this one is next Monday at noon. I'm planning every other Monday for this stream. We're going to do it earlier in the day, and then we're going to do it later in the day. That way, some people from my continent can get to watch it on time, and then the next time, other people in Europe can also watch it on time. So I'm planning 2 p.m. Central Standard Time for the next one, which would mean a noon deadline next Monday. And what else? Yeah, check out Patreon if you haven't already. You're going to get 3 videos, plus JPEGs, plus PSD files. And pretty much anything that you support me on Patreon supports this channel and allows me to do more videos. Do you think in the medieval times people could afford to dress their twins the same? Probably, because it would be easier to make 2 clothing out of the same pattern, right? Instead of having to do multiples, coming up with new patterns. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. And if you've not already joined out on the Facebook group, it's very active. We constantly have new posts coming out there. I try to answer and interact as much as I can. We also have the Discord channel if you want to stay in contact with some other artists. My computer is not opening OBS. And yeah, if you don't have any positive influences of people helping you to believe in your dream of being an artist, come out here, join us, and get some people that are going to support you in that. And that would be really good for your future. Yeah, you like having earlier streams, Ben? I hear you. I think a lot of people do. So yeah, we're shooting for an early stream next week for the finals. Then of course we'll be kicking off a new challenge next week, which will be another 2-week challenge. All right, until I see you next time, keep drawing.